Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Simon Borg. I'm Nick Fershaw, looking back at the biggest headlines of another week in MLS action. And Simon, this time around, three teams that were winless going into the weekend got their first win. The Colorado Rapids, the Portland Timbers, and then the Chicago Fire on Sunday. So three teams off the schneid. Who had the most impressive victory of the weekend?
Nick, to me, it's Portland Timbers, hands down. The way they came out in the second half and absolutely dominated the Houston Dynamo. After getting knocked around in the first half, Diego Valeri had to leave the game with an ugly eye injury. And so when David Horst goes down as well, you figure, oh man, the Timbers really have an uphill climb here. Then second half comes out, they come out, Darlington Nagbe takes control of the team. That's what I'm coming away with. And they play the way Caleb Porter has designed them to play. They were impressive in their style. The
first MLS win for Caleb Porter, you mentioned it there. The other wins, the Colorado Rapids, Edson Buttle plays very well, and they get a win over Real Salt Lake, which really puts them in the driver's seat for the Rocky Mountain Cup going into the third match later this season. And then Chicago Fire, finally with their first win, a comeback win over the New York Red Bulls, 3-1 out at Toyota Park. Make sure you log on. MLSsoccer.com standings, see who's in first and maybe who's no longer in the bottom of their respective conferences. Next up, one of the most interesting controversies you're going to see in MLS. It happened out at Buckshaw Stadium in San Jose where the Quakes were taking on the Vancouver Whitecaps. Chris Wondolowski gets his third goal of the season. That puts the Quakes up 1-0. Then we see two Quakes players leave the field at the same time, Victor Bernardes and Alan Gordon, to adjust their cleats. It was pretty wet out there in the Bay Area. What happens? The Vancouver Whitecaps pull a goal back. This one ends in a 1-1 draw. What happened here?
Nick, this is Shoegate. It's Shoegate here in San Jose. Now, I don't give total fault to Alan Gordon and Victor Bernardes. They picked a moment. Sam Cronin goes down injured. They think the trainer's coming out to tend to him. They figure, hey, we have time to go out and do this and take care of the shoes. Problem is, trainer didn't come out. Sam Cronin's up. Play resumes. They're caught outside. So they took advantage of a moment. And if you have issues with your shoes, you got to take care of it sooner rather than later. So I don't fault them there. What I do fault them is with this. They are the home team. They know how this surface plays. Why are you, of all people, having two players come out to take care of this? It's unacceptable. You'd imagine the Whitecaps doing it, not the Earthquakes.
11v9, you're not going to see that very often in MLS. Interestingly enough, Alan Gordon actually changed his cleats at halftime and then in the second half went back to his original cleats. So an interesting situation out there. Shoegate in San Jose. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and you can catch the full match center on MLSsoccer.com. Last but not least, CONCACAF Champions League resumes on Tuesday night. The Seattle Sounders down in Torreon, Mexico. They're up against Santos Laguna, the second leg of the semifinal series. They got some good news, already facing a one-goal deficit in the aggregate goal series. Got some good news. Eddie Johnson's going to be back for this one, might play a role off the bench. Is that going to be enough to save the Sounders?
It's critical that he's there, given Obafemi Martins is ruled out of the game. But I think Eddie Johnson alone is not going to be able to take care of that Santos defense. Felipe Baloy, just a monster. Baloy will be able to take care of Eddie Johnson, in my opinion. The key is occupying Baloy and making sure other players are ready to take advantage of the spaces that Johnson can open up.
8 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer on Tuesday night. There's a live chat on MLSsoccer.com as the Sounders get back into CONCACAF Champions League action. And then the LA Galaxy back on Wednesday night. They're at Monterrey. MLSsoccer.com has correspondence in both cities as the CONCACAF Champions League revs back up. That does it for us. A reminder, Extra Time Radio comes out on Monday. The podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Buzzsprout. And don't forget, the best goals of the weekend, they'll be up for the MLS Goal of the Week. You can find out how to vote on Monday on MLSsoccer.com.